Hey guys, Coach Luca here. I want to talk to you guys about a topic that is so dear to my heart, which is actually training intensity. A lot of the times the trainee won't know how to manage intensity or the workout. So I want to give you guys a brief overview on how to manage that, especially if you're training from home and you don't have all the weights available, such as barbells and all the dumbbells you want. Maybe you just have a couple kettlebells and some resistance bands. But regardless, whatever you're doing, these principles will always stay the same, all right? So if you're training from home, what you want is you want to manage your rate of perceived exertion, which is what we call the RPE, okay? And you want to be able to auto-regulate that in your training. So however you feel, if you feel on any given day that you're a little more tired, you can decrease the intensity or the rate of perceived exertion, or increase it if you're feeling good. If you're feeling strong, you can push yourself a little bit more. So these are like typical guidelines to follow. We usually use a scale from 1 to 10 in the RPE. So 1 all the way up to 10, 1 being the easiest and 10 being the most difficult or the hardest you can possibly push yourself. In training, you'll have your preparation or your warm-up, okay? And this is not really hard. It just kind of gets the cardio system going. It gets the nervous system excited. And when you're starting your lifting, it's very easy. So the RPE is between a 3 to 5, right? And this takes about 10 minutes depending on each person. It could go a little longer or less time. Then you're training. You want to stay within the sweet zone, which is 6 to 8 on a scale from 1 to 10. 6, 7, and 8 is perfect. And you can vary between those three numbers. And it's really an internal feeling of how hard the workout feels, okay? I'll talk to you about in a second how you can change the variables or play with the variables in order to make it more or less intense if you want. 9 and 10 is only reserved for competition or testing. You know, there are times, once in a while, a few times a year, while you will push yourself to your limit or close to your limit, that you want to test yourself and see what you're made of, see what you've accumulated over the many months of training and practicing your strength and your skills, all right? So mainly, this is the general idea of the RPE and the intensity or the rate of perceived exertion. Now, if you come over here, a lot of people will ask me, well, how do I increase the RPE or the rate of perceived exertion? And they go by several variables, and I may add a couple more as well. First of all, you may want to increase the amount of sets that you do in total, or rounds. That'll increase the overall volume of the workload. That's one way of increasing the rate of perceived exertion. You also may add more repetitions. If you're doing, let's say, sets of 5 and you're doing that for a while, you may want to add a rep or two to your exercise. You can also decrease the rest periods and have more density in your workout. So you do more work within the same amount of time and you're taking less rest, right? Another way is to add more weight, okay? And if you're doing progressive calisthenics, then you may want to play with the body weight distribution. So you're gonna, do push-ups in a maybe decline fashion or gear more towards one side, right? There are many ways to do that. Another cool way is to play with the tempo. So tempo is basically the speed of your exercise. You may want to slow down on the eccentric phase, pause, and then come up fast. And you could play with 4, you can say, phases. So there's the descent, There's the pause at the descent. And there's the ascent. So let's use, let's say, push-ups for our example. So you're gonna have 3 phases of the tempo. So say we're doing push-ups. I'll start at the top in my push-up position plank, and I will descend. Let's say I wanna take 5 seconds. So I'll write 5 over here. And I'll pause for a count of 1 at the bottom. And then I will explode on the way up. So explode is not really a number, we can't numerize it, so we write an X instead. X means as fast as possible. And you hold the top position for a count of 1, right? So these are the phases of the tempo, and these are, you can play around with these numbers. You can make this, 10 if you want to, or really play around with all those phases. So these are this is the general idea of the variables you want to play with in order to increase or decrease the intensity. Hope that makes sense, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Get strong and stay strong.